Hey, it's Denise from LumaHead.com, and this time we're going to learn how to make the mock mesh shawl. You're going to start by securing your yarn to the anchor peg and just remove it after a couple of rows. Then wrap all of your pegs and you're going to knit flat, so you stop at the end and you're going to turn directions, and at this point you will start knitting using the U-wrap version of the knit stitch, and you're going to do this for 3 rows. Row 4 begins the mock mesh stitch, and for this one you're going to keep in mind that you need 3 pegs to work it out, and wherever your working yarn is, that is going to be your peg number 2. So we're going to start by skipping the first, that's slipping your stitch, and then you're going to E-wrap the first 2 pegs after you slip the stitch, and then your yarn is going to be in what we're going to call peg number 2. And so here begins the pattern. You're going to go back, wrap peg 1, skip 2, wrap peg 3, and then you knit off both pegs. Your working yarn is now at a new peg 2, and you start the pattern again. So you're going to go back and wrap peg 1, skip peg 2, and wrap peg 3. And then knit off pegs 1 and 3. And now your working yarn is at a new peg 2, and you just repeat the pattern. At the end of your stitch pattern, you're going to be left with one lonely peg, and that one you're going to just knit. Okay? And then when you turn around, you're going to start again by E-wrapping those first 2 pegs, and you saw that we slipped the first stitch, and now your working yarn is on peg 2, and you're going to start the pattern all over again, except this time your 1 is in the other direction, as you can see, because now you're knitting towards the opposite direction, and the pattern is exactly the same. Once you've knitted the amount of rows that you need in order to get the length you want, for me it took 75, you're going to knit 2 rows of the U-wrap knit stitch. Once you're done with your 2 rows of U-wrap knit stitch, it's time to bind off using the modified basic cast off. For this technique, you're going to skip the first peg, wrap the second, knit off, take the loop off that peg number 2, put it on 1, you're going to tighten, knit off, and take the loop off of peg 1 and place it on peg 2. Then you're going to repeat that. You're going to skip that first peg, E-wrap that second, knit off, take the loop off the second peg and put it on 1, and then you're going to tighten and go ahead and knit off that peg 1, you're going to take the loop off peg 1 and put it on peg 2, and you tighten your yarn. Now you've done 2, you're on the 3rd one, and here's where you're going to modify. You're going to wrap both 1 and 2 and then knit off. Take the loop off 2, put it on 1, you know, same thing. Knit off, take it off 1 and put it on peg 2, and now you're going to go back to the basic bind off where you're not going to wrap peg 1, you're only going to wrap peg 2, and you're going to knit off, take the loop off of 2 and put it on 1, tighten, knit off, take it off of 1 and put it on 2, and now you're going to keep doing this all until you're done. So for me, it was about every 3rd or every 4th time that I would modify the technique. If you do it too many times, it'll get too wide, so you're gonna have to like play with it. I would say, you know, sometimes do it every 3rd, sometimes do it every 4th, and on the last one you're gonna take that loop off the last peg and bring it over and knit off. It kind of rounds the corners off a little so that it matches the other side, and then finish the rest of them off with the basic bind off. And as you can see, right before you reach that very last one, you're going to modify it and wrap both 1 and 2. Take it off 2, put it on 1, knit off, come back and put it on the next one, do the same thing and bring it over, wrap, knit off, and then just cut your working yarn and take that last bit, and you're just going to do like a purl stitch and feed it through, and you're done. Alright, it's off the loom. There you go. Awesome. It's time to weave in your ends. Get your crochet hook on the right end, of course, and grab your yarn and feed it through to the other side, whichever one you feel is the opposite side. They basically look the same, and then just start feeding that loose bit of working yarn in between the loops that you just created, and that's it. And then just start stretching those stitches. You don't really need to block this piece. You can if you want to, but once you stretch out these stitches and you get them the way you want, that's it. But you might consider tightening up your loose loops on that first cast on. If you decide you want to add the optional knotted fringe, then cut some strings 36 inches long, and with your crochet hook you're going to feed them through the loops on the edges. We're going to start with the end, and we're going to take that string and make sure that it's in half, and it creates like 2 strings, and then just grab them together and flip them over like this and make a knot. And we're going to try to make it in a way that we can make sure that the knot is all the way at the top. So when you make the knot, just keep pushing it upwards, and then get another one, and you're going to have about a 1-inch separation between one fringe and the next, as much as possible. Nothing has to be perfect. This is a handmade item, and some imperfections just make it look better. When you're done adding your fringe, you're going to grab the 2 that are on the edge and 1 from the pair next to it. You're going to grab these 3 strings, and you're going to feed them through a big hole bead, and you're going to bring that bead all the way to the top and make a knot. Position the bead and the knot where you want them, and then tighten the knot. Alright, now from this point until you reach the edge of your row, you're going to grab one string from each side, feed it through a bead, tie them, and make a knot. Alright, once you're on the other end, you're going to do the same thing you did at the beginning. You're going to grab both of the strings on the edge and one from the strings to the side of that edge. For your third row of knots, now you're only going to grab one from the edge and one from the strings next to it, and you're going to tie a knot. I'm not going to use beads this time, but you can, and now you already know how to do that. So make it unique and make it your own. Add what you want. Okay, that was 3 sets of knot, and if you like, you can go ahead and make another row just like the beginning, but not I am done, and if you want yours to look like mine, you're done too. Well, I hope you guys like the shawl. I think it's super, and until next time, hugs, come back, loom with me.